Hey y'all, and welcome to this week's Whiskey Wednesday. Today we've got We Do It in a Field by Granger Smith. And he doesn't mean do it in a field. He's really just talking about drinking, tailgating, and partying. But I really like the first line of the song. It really helps frame the types of places that he's talking about. He calls it the little bitty towns between map dots. And you can almost picture it Austin and Dallas, and in between there's just a bunch of little roads, and where they intersect is a town. Now, he mentions 100 blue cans sitting on ice in the back of my truck. I can only assume it means he's a Bud Light drinker, so that's the right choice if you ask me. But of course, he makes a typical Chevy truck reference right alongside dropping the King's name, George Strait. So a little bit of saving grace there after that, cliche. Now, in this next verse, he talks about running off with a girl and kind of getting frisky. And he says, she knows what she's gonna do to me. And I find that weird because usually in country songs, it's the other way around. The guy is making advances towards the girl, or he's thinking about what he's gonna do to the girl and how he's gonna make out with her and stuff. So that was an interesting way to kind of flip around the perspective. Now, this was off a 2013 album, and I really felt like his music started going kind of more mainstream after this. There was something about the way it was produced that just gave it a different sound. Not to say that Granger Smith changed his writing style or anything, but I really think the sound of the music started to sound more radio, more poppy. He doesn't have that kind of gravelly, raspy, deep country voice. He's kind of got an innocent sounding voice, like a singing voice, like a choir singing voice. And he's kind of like a pretty boy, and he was Texas born but moved to Nashville pretty early. And I feel like Nashville just kind of eats up these types of folks, like people with Texas roots who are very well presentable to the world. They're yeah, we can sign these guys and really put them out there for everybody to see and that they would really enjoy. But Granger Smith really does have a creative side. First of all, just look at the number of albums he's made. I think it's 8 or 10 or something. It's a lot over the course of his career. He was born in 1979, so he's not young by any means. He's had a long career under his belt. But he's got this funny side to him as well. He invented this alter ego that he calls Earl Dibbles Jr., who's just this ridiculous, hysterical redneck. And he's made songs as him, and he's made videos as him. And at the beginning, it was really, really, really funny. I thought it was so funny. I even dressed up as him for Halloween. You gotta check it out. I got a picture right here. Yeah, so this is me. Earl Dibbles' classic outfit was overalls tucked into the boots with a wife beater, a hat, and then bad tattoos. I actually pulled it off pretty well. Even the tattoos, all the way down to the details, were pretty good. The wife drew them on that night. But by the end of it, it was pretty cringy. He did a lot of Earl Dibbles music that just got worse and worse and worse as the stunt kind of grew on. You kind of got over the initial value of funniness with it, and he even capitalized on it quite a bit, making yee yee hats and shirts and koozies, even an energy drink. So it just got really merchandised and marketed, and it felt kind of sleazy. It was weird. But his saving grace is that he really does do a lot to support veterans. And he's even traveled to Iraq and Kuwait to play for deployed troops. And every year he participates in the boot campaign. And his way of participating is to walk 100 miles from Austin to the military base in Fort Hood. And then once he gets there, he plays a live show. It's a really cool way to bring attention to the boot campaign, which directly supports veterans suffering from things like PTSD, stress, anxiety, stuff like that. But I do suggest, if you're going to get into his music, go look at some of his earlier albums, like the 2009 Don't Listen to the Radio album, or 2006 Living Like a Lone Star album. The title tracks on both of those are actually really good. He kind of feels more like a relatable, down home kind of guy. Anyways, that's it for this week's Whiskey Wednesday. If you want to catch up with everything Texas Country, you can find us at dailytexascountry.com. Y'all take care.